We've been talking about the flooding for months. 2011 is going down as a record breaker, and the Missouri River is still causing massive problems tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. Floodwaters have topped a farm levee right on the Missouri at Lake Wakanda. Emergency crews and folks in the community raced into action, shoring up the lake's levee and piling up sandbags. As Jonathan Athens from our affiliate KPTM reports, many spent their holiday watching flood levels.
I knew we had hours, within hours, to get things going before it would probably finish it off, and luckily we did get, things stopped. And
it was just crazy. Nothing I've ever seen before. It was coming in so fast, with a lot of force.
Yesterday, floodwaters from the Missouri River overtopped this agricultural levee, and as soon as that happened, emergency crews and people who live in the area kicked into high gear. They started shoring up this levee here with riprap.
Just do little things that I could, mostly big machinery work and a lot of trucks coming in, giving waters out, people getting food out, just helping whoever needed help.
But according to an engineering report from June 30th, one solid week leading up to this moment, emergency crews, engineers, and folks in the community started prepping for this. They started piling up sandbags and made sure that the pumping stations kept pumping to make sure that the lake levels stayed at a reasonable level. Ordinarily, the 4th of July at Lake Wakanda, there are children laughing and playing and swimming, families cooking out and boating. But this year, because of the floods, Lake Wakanda is a ghost town.
It's totally different, nothing I've ever seen before.
I want to see life and activity down here again, and people talking and smiling and playing.
The caretaker closed down the lake for 24 hours after the waters came through. No one has been reported injured, and some folks have had to leave their homes. There's no telling how long this is going to last. And for the people of Lake Wakanda, they're hoping that next 4th of July weekend will be better than it was this 4th of July weekend.
Jonathan Athens reporting for INN News.
Now to the latest on the search for 7 Americans still missing after the fishing boat they were on capsized off the coast of Mexico. The vessel named the Eric left San Felipe on Saturday and abruptly sank just 60 miles south off the Baja California Peninsula in what is described as a freak storm. 2 giant waves hit the boat, causing it to capsize.
I heard people yelling, and my brother got up and went out the hallway and heard somebody, said, "Get out, get out."
All 44 people aboard were thrust into pitch black ocean water and forced to cling for life using whatever they could find. 1 American has been found dead so far. Time for Global News Now. 1 person has died, 28 others have been hurt after an escalator accident at a Beijing subway stop. Some people on the escalator fell down after, quote, an escalator malfunction. No other details are being offered, but the government is demanding an investigation. The Royal Tour of Canada continues. Prince William and Catherine have arrived in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories. The newlyweds wrap up their Canadian tour on Friday when they travel to California. It will mark the Duchess' first trip to the United States. Nothing, not even cancer, can keep Venezuela's president away from his nation's bicentennial celebrations. Venezuela celebrates 200 years of independence from Spain. Hugo Chavez made a surprise return to Caracas yesterday. For weeks, he's been receiving cancer treatment in Cuba. Thousands gathered outside the presidential palace in Caracas while he made a speech. And that's your Global News Now. Still waiting for your raise? You're not alone, but who is getting all the perks? Jenny Wurzberger gets back to business.
While the economic recovery remains slow, with 14 million people still looking for work, those at the top of the economic ladder are having a good year. A new report shows the typical American worker saw a 0.5% pay raise last year, while the average CEO got an increase of about 23%. Executives are being rewarded for not hiring and getting more out of fewer workers, but those workers aren't being rewarded as well. A nationwide crackdown is coming for people who fraudulently draw unemployment, either those who were never eligible or those who continued collecting payments after returning to work. As the jobless rate remains high, states are stepping up efforts to stop fraud and improper payments. And after 43 years at NBC, it appears Wimbledon is heading to ESPN. The sports network has owned the rights to televise early rounds of the tournament, with NBC picking up coverage as Wimbledon progressed. This is the latest major sporting event to move from over-the-air networks to cable. College football's Bowl Championship Series are on ESPN, and NCAA's Final Four moved to TBS. For Back to Business, I'm Jenny Wurtzberger.
Well, like it or not, it looks like Twitter is here to stay for a while. The social networking site says more people are logging on to share the intimate and sometimes trivial details of their lives. Twitter says its users now post an average of 200 million tweets a day. That's up from 65 million tweets a year ago. All those 140-character thoughts add up. Twitter says 200 million tweets means its users are collectively writing the equivalent of a 10 million-page book every day. To loosely quote the vice president, this is a big deal. Joe Biden has joined the Twitterverse. His handle is @VP. He already has more than 6,500 followers. He isn't following anyone yet, not even President Obama. Biden's first and only tweet was about the troops and military families on Independence Day. This eastern Rhode Island house was all decked out in 4th of July gear, but not just to celebrate America's independence. The homeowner says he set up all these flags to pay tribute to the people who lost their lives during the 9/11 terror attacks. There are nearly 3,000 American flags in his yard, each bearing the name of a victim.
You know, I was never in the service, and that's a big regret of mine. So I like to show my patriotism, my appreciation of the troops. And years past, we've done everything for the troops, and this year we thought it would be appropriate for the 10-year anniversary of 9/11.
The homeowner says it took 15 people more than 6 hours to write all the names on those flags. Up next, most of us paid tribute to the red, white, and blue yesterday, but some had a lot of extra white thrown in, where people actually got to ski. Plus, a very old sport is breathing new life into one city, hosting the largest fencing tournament in the world. Those stories and more coming up next on INN.